But no, like you won't know what you're capable of until you put yourself out there to try it. But you won't put yourself out there to try it if you genuinely believe that that's not for me. Going to Columbia is not for me. Opening a business, that's not for me. That's not for people like me. Getting a promotion, applying for a job even, like a job that's really out there, and much less getting a promotion there, that's not for people like me. You know what? This is good enough for me. And then we convince ourselves that this is good enough for us, because the truth is we don't believe in ourselves enough to think that we're actually worthy and capable of more. Because life is just better when you know stuff. You get opportunities you never even would have been aware of before. You understand the world better. You can make sense of people. You learn about the things you need to know. The problem is we don't accept the things that we need to know. Here's something you need to know. If you're going to have a fulfilling life, you are good enough. You do deserve it. You could do it. You're not guaranteed it, but you could. And what you could do so far outside of your understanding right now, especially if you come to believe, either explicitly or implicitly, that success isn't for you, college isn't for you, entrepreneurship isn't for you, wealth management isn't for you. If you come to believe that you're mid, and then you accept that, in fact, if mid is even your target, then you're going to accomplish way less than what you could. And the worst part is that you probably know this, and it's going to be in the back of your mind all the time, like, I could have. Or what if? What if less wasn't expected of me? What if more was expected of me because I'm capable? We only desired more for ourselves. And yet, it's interesting that as little desires we have for ourselves, we pour hatred into other people. We hate, rich people. We hate the people over Coronado, or we hate these people, that people. Why? Because they're stopping me. Your mindset's stopping you. Are they stopping you? No, they don't really care about you. They don't even know you exist. That's the worst part. You think people in other parts of town are even thinking about you? If you think so, you are a narcissist. You think the whole world revolves around you. The truth of the matter is that most people just don't care about you whether you live or die. And that's the truth. The question is, do you care enough about yourself? Also point out that somebody else is terrible. And that's really, really common. It's not, and it manifests in ways that you may not even notice. It's like you guys know your music sucks, right? Yeah, right, yeah. Not like the music that we played in my day, yeah. And we won't even talk, in other words, people won't even talk about how good the music was necessarily in their day. They want to talk about how terrible your music is today. And of course, when I was in high school, they would talk about how terrible our music was, not like the good music they had back before then. And of course, their parents talked about how terrible their music was, not like the good stuff they had back before then. You won't oftentimes hear people just like lift up their own thing nearly as much as like to tear down the thing of somebody else. And you're going to notice that the things that we tear down about other people oftentimes are the things that mean a lot to them. Like when someone comes in and says, your music sucks, you notice that like there's like a reaction inside of us. It's almost visceral. It's an emotional reaction in us. Like if you told me that my markers suck, I'd be like, yeah, it might. I don't know. I guess it's a matter of opinion. But if you tell me, oh, your music sucks, I'd go back to hell where you came from. My music's great. Because we have an emotional connection to something like that. And so the ways in which we try to tear down other people is to attack them, of course, at the things that mean something to them. Now, of course, that's normal, of course, because if it doesn't mean something to them, then there'd be no point in attacking it. But I guess it begs that question. What is it in us that despises other people and other things such that we actually prefer their misery to our own happiness? In other words, it isn't, hey, we're doing great, it's you suck. And again, going back to sports, you'll see this. When I remember, like, for example, like with the Dodgers and Padres, the Dodgers were the best team in baseball. They had the best record in all of baseball. And when you see the Padres beat them, I heard this all the time. They'd be like, hey, see what happened? What happened to your Dodgers? They suck. I'm like, oh yeah. And then they never ever said, any of my Padre fan students never said, Padres are doing really good. That didn't matter. What mattered to them was, you suck. And notice how we're always pointing upwards when we say that. Rather than, dude, we just beat the best team in baseball. Maybe we're the best team in baseball. Maybe we're really good. Because if you beat a crappy team, well, where's the joy in that? Where's the honor in that? If the Padres come in here and they beat our varsity team, do you think the Padres walk away? You guys suck. No, you should lose. But if our varsity team beats the Padres, is it that the Padres suck, or is it that our varsity team is really, really good? When we're tearing down other people, ask yourself that question. Are you tearing them down because they really suck? Because if they do really suck and you beat them, well, congratulations. You beat a really crappy team. Or you scored higher than a stupid person on a test. Or you get a promotion over a crappy employee. There's no joy in that. Like, how do you possibly take any joy in something like that? But if you can recognize that when you're competing against people or entities or ideas, and you or your ideas or whatever prevail, it's because you're very strong. Understand that it's not just tearing down other people, it's also tearing down yourself. You're not recognizing how good you are, how strong you are. And then that's probably the thing that motivates the desire to tear down others, because we don't feel very good about ourselves. We want to tear other people down to us because we don't know how to lift ourselves up. And I think you're going to find that with a lot of people. In fact, I would bet that a lot of you, and I would bet that a lot of you find this within yourselves if you really looked. It's a disbelief in yourself. It's not an inability necessarily, but certainly a refusal to recognize how good you are and how good you could be. In other words, when you think about where, for example, you want to go to college in here, and I know that some of you would be looking at like San Diego State and say, San Diego State's a good place to go. And I'll tell you candidly, it's fine. It's okay. It's fine. But why not look at a UC? Why not look at a private school? Stanford, Columbia? Why not? Why look only at the one local state school that a lot of people get into? I wonder if it's because you don't believe that you belong at a place like Stanford or Columbia. You probably do. I have students who get in there. I had a student just last year who told me that Columbia was her dream school, and she really, really wanted to go there. And she said, but I don't really have a chance to get in. I was like, are you making that decision? Are you on the admissions panel? And she's like, no, but it's not for people like me. And she wouldn't clarify what she meant by people like me. I know what she meant by that. She meant somebody who came from National City. Columbia is not for them. If you don't know, by the way, Columbia is one of the top 10 schools in the world. Forget the country. So I encouraged her, apply. It was her dream school. So she applied. Strangest thing in the world happened. She got in. And she didn't believe it. I have a t-shirt actually on top of my printer over there. It says, proud teacher of a Columbia student, because she got in. And she's over there right now. And she hates the weather because it's in New York and it's cold right now. But she's really happy about being there. Did she belong there? Yeah. And even after she got in, she was telling me, I feel like they made a mistake. And I remember saying to her, they let me in. They let me in, they'll let anybody in. She's like, yeah, but it's different. Why? And she was trying to articulate it. She's like, you're smart. I'm like, yeah, right now. Don't compare yourself to me at 18. Compare yourself to me when you're 44. Look at me when I'm 18 and if you want to make that comparison. But no, like, you won't know what you're capable of until you put yourself out there to try it. But you won't put yourself out there to try it if you genuinely believe that that's not for me. Going to Columbia is not for me. Opening a business, that's not for me. That's not for people like me. Getting a promotion, applying for a job even, like a job that's really out there, and much less getting a promotion there, that's not for people like me. You know what? This is good enough for me. And then we convince ourselves that this is good enough for us, because the truth is we don't believe in ourselves enough to think that we're actually worthy and capable of more. And I understand why, especially if you've been told your whole life, or even if not directly, but implicitly, you're not really capable of more. The past few years, ever since 2020, and some of you guys might know about this, let me ask you this. How many credits do you need to graduate? Anybody know? It's 44. You need 44 credits to graduate. Ever since 2020, the seniors have been allowed to graduate with 26 credits. which means they're able to graduate with 40% fewer credits. Yeah, that's a Black Friday sale on high school credits right there. That essentially means that your whole senior year doesn't matter. And all you need to do is pass one class your senior year, which is government, because that's a requirement for state graduation. But we eliminated 40% of the necessary credits to graduate. And so, and the whole idea was, students were struggling. Why? Well, because of COVID. Anybody remember COVID? It was so long ago. It's like we still, and they're having a discussion at the school board later this month about whether they're going to extend this one more year, which is the seniors this year. What do you suppose has happened to the pass rate for seniors? Yeah, it's collapsed. And I teach seniors, and the past years I've had them say, I love the class, I love what we talk about, I love what you teach, I love the subjects that we talk about, they're so fascinating, oh my God, they blow my mind. Why don't you do the work? And they say, don't need to. I need government, so they'll work on government class. That's the only one they need. They don't work on their math classes. And you'll see seniors graduate with 6 classes and 4 Fs, 3 Fs, 5 Fs, senior year. And their thing is, well, I just needed to graduate. These are not the ones who go to college. You still need that. You need that to go to college, the 44. But if you're not going to college, there are things like, well, I don't really need it. Now, my point of this is this. This was implemented the COVID year. Was it necessary the COVID year? No, because we didn't lock down until the end of the third quarter. We locked down between the third and fourth quarter. So the idea was, but seniors are at a disadvantage. Then why do you knock off 40% of the credits? Wouldn't it make sense to knock off 25% of just their senior credits? In other words, if you're going into the fourth quarter and you're down 40%, you're not going to graduate anyway. Does it make sense then to continue this the second year and the third year and the fourth year, maybe even a fifth year? Because if so, then what we're sending is a message which is 40% of your schooling doesn't matter. So you're fine without it. If that's the case, then it sounds like we need 40% fewer teachers. We need mass layoffs then. We should shrink the size of the school down, if we really believe that. But we don't believe that. What we believe is that you guys are weak, that you guys are soft, that you guys are just little poor soft little babies who need us to help you. You need Scanlon in your life to help you. I have to pull you aside. How are you feeling today, guys? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down or thumbs to the side. I guess there's a place for teachers like that. Some people need the teacher who's like that. Some students need the teacher who comes in here, makes fun of you, and shoots you with Nerf darts, I guess. I hope some of you need that teacher, because you're going to get that teacher today. Yeah, it was great. I'm walking up the hallway with that, and there's a student out there yelling, "He's got a gun! He's got a gun!" She's right. But this is only implemented. 40% less is being expected of you, because we're sending you a message that you're capable of less. And that's a terrible message to send people. Because does it help you in any way? I guess does it help you get a diploma? What's happened to our graduation rates? They've actually gone down since we did this. Because we've implicitly sent a message, school doesn't matter. School doesn't matter, why would you put any time into it? It makes no sense. It's like I'm sure some of you have that family member who says, high school, it's all bullshit, you don't need it anyway. It has nothing to do with the real world. If you believe that, well then, my goodness, why would you put any effort into it? And of course, if it wasn't, you wouldn't even know it, because you wouldn't know what you don't know. In other words, you'd go through high school and you'd get out, and you wouldn't even realize that the information you could have gotten and the skills you could have gotten would have been helpful. But instead, what do we practice? Because you get good at what you practice. Do you get practice at working towards a goal that you don't quite understand yet? Because you can't understand it at 15, 16, 18, 20 years old. Or do we get better at saying, we don't need this, and distracting ourselves, and entertaining ourselves, and not learning? And if that's the case, well, surprise, surprise, people go through life like this. And this isn't a criticism at all, man. This is it's a heartbreaking plea, I suppose, because life is just better when you know stuff. You get opportunities you never even would have been aware of before. You understand the world better. You can make sense of people. I see these things on Instagram all the time. Well, we don't learn anything useful in school. And I think, we don't learn how to do taxes. We don't learn how to do rental agreements. Yes, you do. How do you do taxes? Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Did you learn those things in school or not? Is that not just basic math? If so, you learned that in school, how to pay taxes. Oh, but it's complicated. Oh, you mean you have to read the instructions? If only there was a class that you had for 4 years that specialized and was designed to teach you close reading. If only you took advantage of the things you were being taught about close reading. If only we had that class. I should teach that class. I'm sure that'd be a really popular class because students would just see the usefulness in it. You learn what the things you need to know. The problem is we don't accept the things that we need to know. And that's in life generally. Here's something you need to know if you're going to have a fulfilling life. You are good enough. You do deserve it. You could do it. You're not guaranteed it, but you could. And what you could do so far outside of your understanding right now, especially if you come to believe, either explicitly or implicitly, that success isn't for you, college isn't for you, entrepreneurship isn't for you, wealth management isn't for you. If you come to believe that you're mid, and then you accept that, in fact, if mid is even your target, then you're going to accomplish way less than what you could. And the worst part is that you probably know this, and it's going to be in the back of your mind all the time, like, I could have. Or what if? What if less wasn't expected of me? What if more was expected of me because I'm capable? Why do you think I don't like follow you around all the time? Hey, come on, get your work done. Come on, do your work. Do you think I sit over there and see 75% Fs and go, yes? I say, oh, this is good. It means I have to grade less. Do you think I really mean that? I don't even grade your stuff. I have graders who grade your stuff. If you guys do all of it, it's all the same to me. If you do none of it, it's all the same to me. Why do I care? Because I care. Because I don't think, certainly at least where I was sitting when I was in 10th grade, the idea that things were within my reach was just, that's for that kids on the other side of town. That's, never even occurred to you these things are possible. But you're capable of so much more than you realize. You just have to accept that and then pursue it. Whatever it is, it doesn't mean you have to do anything. It just means you could. We only desired more for ourselves. And yet, it's interesting that as little desires we have for ourselves, we pour hatred into other people. We hate, rich people. We hate the people over Coronado, or, we hate these people, that people. Why? Because they're stopping me. Your mindset's stopping you. Are they stopping you? No, they don't really care about you. They don't even know you exist. That's the worst part. You think people in other parts of town are even thinking about you? If you think so, you are a narcissist. You think the whole world revolves around you. The truth of the matter is that most people just don't care about you whether you live or die. And that's the truth. The question is, do you care enough about yourself to? So, questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques? Happy Wednesday? Something positive? I'm sure if we go back and listen to it, we'll find something positive.